you doing, Joe?
Doing well, Carlos. How are you? Lovely afternoon
doing-
here in Minneapolis.
It is. It's a beautiful afternoon. We're going into the weekend, so all's right with the world.
Exactly. So it's good. And we have some interesting shows to go over as we get deeper into the White Shadows second.
We do. And what a great set of episodes we have today. It starts off light, gets darker, then gets real dark. So let's jump in with what I have to tell you is my favorite White Shadow episode of all time, the Harlem Globetrotters episode.
There you go. Yeah, it's obviously very memorable for me. I remember this one from being when I watched it originally, and obviously the Globetrotters personally, that was something that I would see, watch on TV. And as we talked off air last week, for me it was Meadowlark Lemon, even preceding this sort of as the main clown prince, so to speak. But it was Geese Ospey. Now Curly Neal was always around, but for me this brings back those memories of watching it. Was it on Wild World of Sports? I can't recall, Carlos.
That's typically where I saw them. I think I got my dad to take me out once or twice to the Met Center to see them live, but Wide World of Sports was where I was exposed to them. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. This is an episode. Bruce Paltrow is directing this. I think he wanted to have the fun with them. But we've talked about, like, when this show aired, basketball was kind of like a big center of my universe. And in Minneapolis those days, there was Gopher basketball, but there was no pro basketball. It was that abyss after the Lakers, before the Timberwolves didn't exist. So there were three things that were huge in basketball in my life, and this episode had two of them. It had White Shadow. It had the Harlem Globetrotters. The only thing missing that to me meant basketball in that era is Julius Erving, Dr. J. Those were the three things that meant basketball to me. So this show had two of those three. It was pretty awesome. And you have the Carver High squad is riding a 10-game winning streak.
Oh, yes. And they are, how shall we say, full of themselves, right?
They are feeling it. They are feeling, including probably one of the highlights is our man Reeves decides to throw the moves on Miss Buchanan.
Oh, yeah. No, was it Thorpe? It was Thorpe.
Thorpe. Yeah.
Thorpe was brilliant, which was, yes. And I saw that. And obviously in watching the episode, he says, you're going to be written up, which was a threat that we would get too back in the day.
Joe, it's going on your permanent record.
Exactly. But it didn't prevent him from playing in the game.
Yeah.
But so, I thought that was well handled, and another thing that kind of cements Coolidge as one of the faves of the show is he came in with his cape on.
Oh yeah, he's the king. He's cool.
Yeah, and he said, "I don't want to practice today. I might get this. I don't want to sweat my cape here, my new outfit." So it was pretty funny.
We have another situation. I think we talked about last week or the week before. Where we've got shows that aired out of order again. Because in the middle of this episode, hey, Nicky, how you doing, Nicky? Nicky from New York is just there. Now, it turns out that the next episode is when we meet Nicky, but all we know is there's this kid from New York, and he thinks everything sucks in L.A.
That's right. He thinks it sucks, and then when they're sitting in Salami's car and it starts to rain, everyone's huddled in it, but he gets out and enjoys it because he feels like that brings him some nostalgia for home, which I don't quite get, but hey, that was interesting.
Yeah. They give Go-Go some slicked back hair for one scene, and then he goes back to his normal Mr. Gomez.
Yep, I remember that part. That was pretty good. And I thought that the whole kind of how the Globetrotters came to Scrimmage, that was just as I remember them, some of the things they were doing. So
and the car wash element, there's a little bit of it that gets added to it because very big movie in mid-70s is the car wash too. There's that little element to it too. But the car wash, Reeves says, hey kids, United Way, doing some charity stuff this weekend, car wash, come help. And they're like, yeah, no.
No, we're not doing that. And it was, again, this kind of shows Ken Reeves knows everybody. It's right. He's with the Globetrotters. The Lakers are doing it down the road at another place. And so it was interesting. And then they didn't go, but they brought Salami's car to the car wash to get it washed. And if you recall, the top doesn't work on Salami's car.
It does not. Actually, you do see it. I can't remember which of the three episodes. You do see it with the top up, and there's a big hole in it.
Yep. Yep. So it's...
Yeah, and they go and they are less than respectful to the men working the car wash. I do not know how they don't recognize Curly Neal as to be one of the most recognizable faces of the mid-'70s, but they do not know. Even
Yes.
though they're trying to figure out how to scam their way to be able to go see the Globetrotters for free.
Yeah.
They do not know.
Because Coach said, nope.
Yeah.
You didn't help out. You're not going to go see him with me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they do a few little kind of silly bits in this thing. There's a little dine and dash scene.
Oh yeah, which was
It's just weird. It's just a weird kind of little comedy trope they threw in there. They also do mall rats with Nicky and Salami in the Sears Roebuck store or whatever, playing with stuff and screwing around, trying on shoes and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just a very lighthearted episode with just various comedy tropes added to it.
Was that sort of the sense of entitlement kind of thing, do you think, in terms of...
I don't, maybe, you know what? Maybe that's it. More of them full of themselves so that they can just act out wherever they are. You know what? That makes more sense. I guess I can see how it logically fits a little bit.
So, but the salami and the Nick scene, when they were shooting baskets, or they tried to shoot a basket at that was interesting too as well.
And they're trying on shoes without wearing socks. That's just, gross.
Yes. But when they played the game too, I think one of the most recognizable basketball phrases that I don't know if I was aware of it back then, but it certainly became from that time forward a very recognizable basketball phrase where at the tip off of the game, Coolidge is telling him where his first shot's going to go. I'm going to do a spin turn and then it's going to go. And the guy stands up over Coolidge and says, in your face.
Yep. In your face. Wow. Yep.
And then that's what people say in the basketball court now in different contexts, but it was good.
There was a cringeworthy moment in the show where I believe that it was at the game where they say, we don't play ghetto ball.
Oh,
ghetto ball was used, and I'm just like, okay.
And that comes up again, written on one of these upcoming episodes. I'll go over that, where it was, I can't remember, but it was like a dance scene. I can't remember which episode, but in the back of the banner said something ghetto dance or something that. Or maybe it was a previous episode. I can't remember, but yeah.
So the team is full of themselves, this and that. Miss Buchanan says, Reeves, your boys are out of control. So Reeves, I'm going to humble them. I'm going to set up a scrimmage against a bunch of old guys that work at a car wash and have them schooled by the Harlem Globetrotters. And that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
They just guys like, these old guys are coming here. And of course, once again, they don't recognize who they are. Even once they see them playing ball, they don't figure it out. But they get schooled.
Yeah.
Badly.
They don't even want to go to the second half.
No.
Because they've been beat so bad. And that's when they switch from the car wash workers into their Globetrotters.
And actually, what was missing in the first half that I found disturbing was no Sweet Georgia Brown.
Oh, yeah.
So when they come out for the second half, then they give us the standard Globetrotters routine that we're used to. But I did have something I did want to add, that feeling as they were getting destroyed, as a high school basketball team would if they were playing a bunch of professionals. I have a memory in law school, second year of law school, evidence class, okay? I know nothing at this point. No second-year law student knows a damn thing. They think we thought we knew it all. So I had an evidence class, and I had to defend a deposition. So another professor comes in, is going to depose my client. I'm defending him. And it was the biggest disaster. I felt like I just completely out of control. I got just getting destroyed. And I had that empathetic feeling towards the Carver High players going, I've been there. You've got no chance. So.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned it last week too. I had that same feeling when I played in junior college. We had a tournament, and we scheduled this tournament, and we had a team from Red Lake, a band of Native Americans. So it was an all Native American team. We're all khaki, just like the boys at Carver were. And lo and behold, we got our head handed to us because of their ability to play team basketball and how they were played together, it seemed like, for years. And it was most humbling. So that's when I looked at what happened to the Carver team, that kind of touches my life too as well.
Yeah. But great joy. Reeves is loving it. They continue to use poor Goldstein as the foil. They're picking on Goldstein throughout the episode. And then the classic Globetrotters bit at the end of the show where someone throws a glass of water at Geese or Meadowlark, and then he's going to come back with a bucket, And we always know the bucket's got graffiti. That's Goldstein. I've seen this. Bucket's got graffiti, and the bucket goes, and Goldstein is flooded with a bucket of water.
And and he takes, even in these really serious episodes, or at least in one of them, he is, I would say it's subtle comedic foil in some of those, but I'll go over that kind of when we get into the detail of that. But yeah, the Globetrotters one is just a fun thing. I think the other one was that I remembered. You remember it was very 70s, and this was what people used to caution me against when I went to high school for the first time. Remember when Morris's contact scene in the bathroom?
Yes.
And everyone's all kind of, people are smoking and doing all this sort of stuff.
Yep.
That was the thing that was going to happen if he went to the big bad high school, right?
Yeah.
And
then
so that's
you ended up going to the nice Catholic school.
Yeah.
To keep you away from that, where nothing bad happened in the boys' room.
Yeah. But I just thought that was interesting, kind of take a look, and then that guy crushed Morris's thing, but Morris got the better of him, as I recall, and all of that too as well. But no, this was just a fun episode, and obviously for you and I, and nostalgic for
very
something
nostalgic, and it's one that stuck in my head.
Yeah,
and the general plot of it stuck in my head. Obviously, the scenes didn't, but yeah, it's a delightful episode. It just reminded me of some really fun times.
Yeah,
but it's time to get serious, and our man Thomas Carter Haywood starts to take center stage in the next two episodes. This next episode, Me, is his directorial debut.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I think you had mentioned earlier in the season he seems to disappear in season 2, and it's because he was not thrilled with the lack of meat for the role. So they gave him a directorship and then the meatiest role of the series so far in Needles. Let's go to Me. This one is tough, man. Let's start out with meeting Nicky. We officially meet Nicky.
Yeah. Yep.
Salami.
Yeah.
I got this cousin from New York. He's a great athlete. He's pitching Reeves on him. And Nicky tries out, becomes part of the team, fits in really quickly.
Yep. Can't shoot. There's a scene where he takes the layup and he throws it halfway across the gym, but he's a good defender is what is shown, I think, in one of the, when, not to be a little foreshadowing, when Morris is a little distracted.
Yes.
Morris Thorpe.
Yes.
The intention of this scene. So, yeah.
Yeah. We find out that Reeves has been having to teach sex ed 2 out of 4 weeks, so half the time, but he's got to now teach this week as well. Yeah. And the subject is VD. Which is how they called it back then, venereal disease, as opposed to, what do we say, STDs today. But it was about VD, and he had to teach it. And first thing I got to say is, I think I've mentioned this before, but my very first class in college was a logic class. It was also an 8 a.m. And I had to go up and do a syllogism, right?
Yeah.
And I started writing, and then the writing got smaller and angled as I wrote. And the teacher said, Carlos, teacher tip, walk along. I have to say, Ken Howard did a good job of writing on the board. That's not easy to do. Writing on the board is hard. And he wrote, and he spelled syphilis and gonorrhea.
That's right.
On a chalkboard.
But don't you think, too, at least my memories of junior high at Westwood, those kind of things were prevalent that they would try to teach you and warn you against, right?
They would, but first of all, it wasn't by that. By high school, it was not gender. Because you noticed that class was all men that he was teaching, all boys. Yeah, we had it. Like I said, I very distinctly... You probably don't know the kid, and I won't mention his name because it's an embarrassing story. But 4th grade, they take the boys to one room, girls to another room. They show us a movie. And then the gym teacher says, does anybody have any questions? Or what did we learn today? And this young man from my class, I'll never forget, said, we learned that girls have Virginias. So that was my first exposure. But by the time we got to junior high and high school, it was co-ed. Yeah. But this is straight up stuff. I guess you know what? I'm not going to go there. I was surprised by the symptoms that Thorpe is experiencing, that he's lethargic. And that's what gets him to think that something might be going on.
Yeah, and I thought the interplay between Morris and Reeves kind of strengthening their relationships a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And Reeves giving him advice about what to do, and kind of Morris having the true regrets, because obviously as he got this through some woman he was dating, but then the crux of it all is that he on a rebound slept with Coolidge's girlfriend.
Yes,
who Coolidge had broken up with.
They were on a break.
That's it.
To go Ross and Rachel on the bit. They were on a break, and because he knows who gave it to him, but the bigger problem is he had a little hookup with Coolidge's now current girlfriend, and someone's going to have to fess up.
Two things too before we get into that whole thing about that relationship was the VD clinic or the free clinic that they go. Yes. So I looked that up. In the 70s and 80s, the free clinic was a backlash against not being able to do it. The Black Panthers had free clinics. They're the ones that first start them. Yeah. And then they morph now into some other things. But I remember a free clinic and, just in the universe back then.
I distinctly remember it because at the time it was hard to get birth control for young women to get birth control. If they get it from their family physician, then their parents have to be involved. Yeah. And so it was used a lot in addition to other family planning things. But that was very common, existed at the same time here pretty much everywhere. So that was very realistic. His level of apprehension and anonymity, and that's real. It's real. And having a female doctor or female nurse and saying, I want to talk is very authentic.
Yes.
But it turns out the doctor is a woman as well, and he's got a drop trowel.
Yeah, and he was not happy about that.
No, it is uncomfortable. So Thorpe has VD. We know that.
Yep.
I did want to just real quick, since we mentioned that Heywood, Thomas Carter directed it, there was one scene, it was right around then, they go to the locker room, and he does a shot from underneath the bench in the locker room, and so you just see feet and stuff. So I'm like, oh no, there's a new director just messing around with camera position. There's no need for it, but I just noticed that shot real quick. And I'm like, okay, that's Thomas Carter doing it just because I can. I'm gonna. Anyways, I just noticed that and I wanted to mention it.
And the VD clinic, I have two things. So it was the first time I've read about it. I've heard about it, but I've never seen someone have a Huli woman tattoo and then move it.
That's
like
impressive.
Thorpe, remember he sat next to that guy with
he did.
And that guy flexed it and moved the girl, so she was
it makes the hula dancer hula or whatever. That fits in perfectly too, because who had tattoos back then? Who did we think of? Sailors.
Needles.
Or sailors. That was like who it was. I noticed that we see Thorpe's room.
Yes.
And I noticed the mix of posters in there, and I noticed a Minnie Riperton poster.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yes, and Minnie. Big picture. And I don't know if you knew Minnie Riperton. Daughter is very famous. This is gonna include singing, and I'm gonna try to just do the lyrics without singing it. Minnie Riperton's very famous for the song that went
Live for Today, no? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyways, I apologize to everybody for me doing that. I shouldn't be singing. Anyways, Maya Rudolph is her daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then there were a couple other ones. So there was a Jimi Hendrix poster in there too. I noticed that.
Yeah, I saw that. But the last thing about the VD clinic, there's a brief scene where a white guy in a Yankees hat was in front of Morris in line. Okay. Mm-hmm. And when she said the receptionist kept saying, hey, you need to make an appointment. You need to make an appointment. And when he couldn't get to see the doctor, he said, I think you are being systematically destroyed by the very same rules and regulations you worship.
Wow.
And I was like, is that so 70s or even more
that's
so
almost
60s?
That's just like a rant. That's like a 60s anti-capitalist Allen Ginsberg like rant. That's funny.
Yeah, and then the guy who did it was a guy by the name of John Friedrich. Yeah. Didn't have much of a career. He was in the movie The Wanderers, but he played
I love that movie.
He played in a previous show with Byron Stewart and Carter. So it seemed he got, hey, let's bring in our buddy to do this weird scene because it really serves no moving the plot forward purpose.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. It was interesting.
See Ken Reeves getting his groove on with his lady and then gets interrupted.
Oh, it was by Thorpe, right?
Yeah, Thorpe shows up, but he's got her. And then here's the thing is, as the lady leaves the room so they can have a private talk, she goes, I'll take a look at these press clippings I keep hearing all about. I'm like, Ken Reeves keeps a book of his press clippings to impress the ladies.
That's right. Is it like the old come up to my apartment and show you my etchings?
Show you my etchings.
Which was a phrase used in the 70s and 80s.
So they confronted him. Morris talks they don't show it, but the original source is not shown, but
Yeah.
Coolidge's girlfriend they show, and she's leaving it up to Thorpe to tell Cool. She's like, I'm going to just stay away from him. And Thorpe comes up with the Nicky's idea. Nicky is giving advice.
Nicky is the one he goes to Nicky because he doesn't want the other players to know.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'll talk to you. They won't know about it. Perfect. Yep. And then Nicky says, have him go to a hooker. And then that way, that's who gave it to him.
Yep.
So Thorpe wandering around town, I don't know, trying to find a really cheap hooker he can afford for a Coolidge.
It's right, both of them. And again, that kind of, in this episode and the next episode, it shows you the more gritty LA as opposed to the plasticine.
They leave the high school in the next 2 episodes, and they attempt to show the inner city.
Yes. And so that was always, I liked those scenes particularly. And then I particularly liked the scene when Coolidge now knows how this all happened.
Yeah.
And he's mad, of course.
Yeah.
And the girlfriend says, she explains it that, hey, you broke up with me and I just fought when Morris went, I went. Yeah. And I just thought that how Coolidge, because Morris was leaving, right? He was going to quit the team.
Yeah.
And I thought more the way Coolidge came in and just started putting stuff back in his locker without saying anything was really well done, I thought.
I thought it was too. I think I've mentioned it before, but I really believe the writers for the White Shadow did not make the easy story choices.
Yeah.
They went with more complex. They could have had a mad at each other. They could have had a fist. There's lots of ways they could have handled it, but that is really the mature, an incredibly challenging situation. I cannot imagine being in it. I thought it was done well. And they avoided, this was not an after-school special sermon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They did not encourage prevention. They did not encourage abstinence or condoms. It's interesting. They offered no solutions whatsoever.
Yeah.
But they did present it.
Yeah. So. And so I thought it was well done. The girlfriend had her kind of big talk with Coolidge about why she did it, et cetera, and they talked about their undying love, and obviously we'll never see this woman again after this episode.
Exactly, yeah.
But I looked up her as an actress. She would look very young, right? So his girlfriend is now 72 years old.
Sure.
And she was the September 1978 Playmate of the Month.
Oh my goodness. Is that the Judy Ann Elder?
I can't remember. I didn't write her name down, but she was the one who played Coolidge's girlfriend. So I was like, wow, that's, I'm getting
the
old.
Reality is, how old are we?
Yeah.
Do the math. They weren't newborns when they were on the show.
Yeah. But so this was a serious episode. Yeah. That you said no easy answers.
Yeah.
And Coach
Reeves. And like I said, they didn't do a preachy after school special kind of a thing. Yeah. They handled it very well. I thought very well. Not even for a show that features kids.
Yeah.
Just for a TV in general drama, it handled it about as well as any show has handled it. This is long before Prestige TV, okay? This was TV was filled with Fantasy Island and Love Boat and Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah, it was. It was just interesting. Go ahead.
Do you have anything left on this one, or do you want to dive into the needle?
Let's dive into number 9.
Yeah, number 9. Very good. Very Beatles reference. I like it. So this one is hard, man. Because Heroin, to me, even now, sounds like an exotic, weird. And obviously, I'm well enough aware to know that heroin seeps into all economic parts of society and this and that. But to me, to this day, it's a backroom alley kind of it's just not. I am sure that I have interacted with people that are heroin addicts. I just don't think I've ever been conscious of it. So think back to the 70s. This is even more exotic, right? Heroin. Come on. Yeah. I was at that age. What were we? 12, 13, 14? Nothing. No idea.
And this guy in the TV show, this episode, he was 14 years old, or portrayed as a 14-year-old, right? Or a 15-year-old, because obviously Hayward was the 17 or 18-year-old. And I thought the interplay, the talking when the kid came back to the home a little bit high. Yeah. And he had the same talk with Hayward, is that concerned, trying to
Yeah.
manage the situation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But and he feels bad that he's not always for his cousin, but
Yeah.
I thought that was a very well done scene too, as well, in terms of the pressures, not only for Hayward being like the adult figure, but what these kind of kids.
There was a line. So the kid comes over and he's baked, or he is clearly altered. And Heywood uses a line that I guarantee you at the time I had no idea what it meant. He said, "You know what? You smoke a little herb?"
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because he is just whatever you want to call strung out on hair. He's a zombie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I looked up the date. I'm like, yeah, no, I had just turned 14. I had no idea what a little herb meant.
Yeah, and it was just the kid, how he progressed. I think it was that day he was either on herb or on cocaine. And he had not quite done the heroin thing yet.
I thought he came home with heroin. I thought he was really high on heroin that night. He comes home and he doesn't want to eat and he goes right to bed.
It was the cocaine because...
Was it the cocaine? Okay.
Because it was heroin that killed him.
Okay.
The first shot he ever got.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
anyways, that's not how people react.
Yeah, you would be the other way.
That's not. So that's why I got confused. This is a very serious episode, but I have a comic tangent, if you will.
Okay.
And it's going to lead to a trivia question for you. Not a trivia question, just a curious question. In this episode, the aforementioned salami vehicle that he took to the car wash, he refers to it as the Hotel California. And my question for you is, have you ever, or do you name your cars?
Have I ever named my car?
Yeah.
I don't. I had a 75 Dodge Coronet Classic.
Yeah.
But I've never really, I have not named any of my cars.
My car. I drive an old man silver Camry, and I call it the Silver Streak.
Oh, okay. Very good.
So...
Very good. I probably would have, if I had a nickname for that 75 Dodge, was every time it rained, it would cut out. It would stall.
And you and I did not hang out in high school. Our time was junior high mainly. By high school, I had developed a pretty strong nicotine habit. And my car in high school, my white Grand Prix, was referred to as the ashtray. Because it had one of those big 70s bucket-size ashtrays, and it was still overflowing.
So tell me this, how did your parents react to that, or did they not know cars?
So both of my parents smoked. My dad quit smoking about mid-70s. My mom smoked up until about 1990. My dad said to me one time, he goes, "Listen, you think I'm stupid? I know you're smoking. If you're going to smoke in front of me, don't insult me."
Okay, that's good.
Anyways, I wish I wouldn't have. I haven't for a long time. A cancer diagnosis will get you to quit smoking super quick. I'll tell you that.
I have one other comedic thing here I wanted to bring up here. So they're giving Goldstein a hard time about some girl.
Yes.
And then this girl says he should go see this movie Goldstein turns around and says, she wants me to get some experience. Okay?
Yeah.
So I won't go into the context of what happens with why. Goldstein goes to this X-rated movie.
Yes.
Okay. And it's called Lorna Loves Louisville. Okay.
Okay.
So I looked it up. It's not real.
It's not real.
But this TV show came out a year after a very famous one, which I think this was a play on words for that movie. So triple alliteration to another triple alliteration.
Yeah.
And so I think it was a play on. Do you know what it is?
I believe it involves Dallas.
Yes. So it was a play on that Debbie does.
Debbie does Dallas. Yeah.
Dallas, and I'm wondering. I'm 14 too. No clue. And
I must have missed it. I must have been multi-screening it because all I remember is that Goldstein gets solicited by a hooker, I think, after leaving the theater.
And I looked up the credits on the DB. She is uncredited. There's no anything. I'm bummed about that in terms of she had to play that role. She should get credit. Yep.
Just jumping ahead here because I saw it in my notes. Another connection. The writer for this show, John Falsey, creator of St. Elsewhere.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Interesting. And
cross-pollination. Actually, he also created Northern Exposure, which is a fun show.
And did you know that the guy who Hayward teaches at that summer camp on a Saturday. His name is Eric Launaville. He was in 129 episodes of St. Elsewhere and 3 in Hill Street Blues, 22, and this is going to bring back nostalgia for you, Carlos, 22 episodes in Room 222.
Oh, Karen Allen.
And then he was in one of my favorite movies of that era. It was a Charlton Heston's The Omega Man.
Oh, that's a great movie. Yes.
So that's that Eric Launaville who plays the teenager who's trying to act in big, that he's a good basketball player and he sells drugs.
Yep. Just to dive back into the plot here, I think I've not spent a lot of time on it because it's so damn uncomfortable, but Heywood decides he vows vengeance on the man who sold heroin and killed his cousin.
Yeah.
And he buys a gun, which, I guess something that it didn't connect to me because the concept of where you would go buy a piece when I was that age, if I were to go out and buy a piece right now, I wouldn't even know how to do that besides Walmart, right?
Exactly. But and then the kind of the juxtaposition for him trying to find out the name of that guy by speaking to his former 3rd grade classmate, and they've diverged.
Yep.
And I thought that was sort of really well done.
And it gives you context, right? Because these aren't suburban kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They come from many times dark places, and this is one of them, right? If you have a grade school classmate who ends up a heroin addict, that's a sign, right? Finally, I've been saying, where are the lawyers to ruin everything? And Ken Reeves says, hey, we need to let all the kids out of school, all the players out of school, so they can go search. They can go search for Heywood. We got to find him. And Sybil's like, I'm not taking these kids out of school and having them run around L.A. The lawyers, have you heard of negligence or something like that? I'm like, finally, you killed a kid a few weeks ago. You never called the lawyers, but finally we draw the lines.
And of course, Ken says to the players, you stay, I go.
Yeah, I stay up.
And then, but there's a scene.
I was going to mention this before on the Thorpe episode too. You know what? I think if I was in Thorpe's situation, the idea of going to a coach about something like that is not far-fetched.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because coaches did take on that kind of father mentor figure, particularly when you're talking about high school age, right? Yep. Where you're dealing with it. So I thought that was very realistic. And obviously, not all high school coaches wear a cape like Ken Reeves does. Yeah. But he goes out and he's searching all of LA for Heywood.
Yep. And then he runs into the players who snuck out anyway, right?
Yes, yep.
And they all scattered. But didn't Thorpe come to Reeves to say, hey, Hayward's gone again. You got to go do something.
Yeah, Thorpe, once again, he did not interrupt sexy time for Reeves this time, but he did clue him in and say, we got a problem. And he does find Heywood, but Heywood, I got to do what I got to do.
And that was some physicality between the coach and Hayward. And there was the coach saying, try to see logic. This is going to ruin your life, right? And then that scene where when Hayward knocks him into that window and it breaks, that was unplanned. And
really?
Howard cut his back.
Very intense.
He cut his back when he.
Oh wow.
And no memory of the plot, but I remember that. So it was something that he just shouldered on. So Ken Reeves.
Oh, good for him.
So it was interesting, but the kind of the grittiness of the heroin addict's apartment.
Yeah.
Goldstein is the comic relief running over after going to the porno film and running into Hayward just on the street saying, and him being a square kind of took him away from trying to buy a gun.
He screws up his deal, right? He screws up his deal, but he ends it in kind of an interesting way. Hayward finds the heroin dealer.
Yep.
Makes a judgment that not to kill him, which is good, but leaves him with, you never know, you're never going to know when it's coming. So we do get a little bit of a afterpiece of the heroin dealer being a little paranoid about a sound he heard. Yeah. So at the very least, the bad guy gets some comeuppance without Heywood ruining his life.
Yeah, and I think that the emotionality of Hayward really kind of comes out, not only during the scene where he's on top of the drug dealer, but and then a very realistic scene where, as any coach, any parent who knows all the answers, sees Hayward in the locker room and starts trying to not lecture him or talk to him, and then Hayward kind of fires back, hey, I don't know how I feel. I don't want to talk about this. And Ken goes, okay, we'll talk about this some other time.
Yep. Yep.
So I just thought it's something that was, I'm sure, in that era, for those kids who lived in that neighborhood, that was something fairly prevalent.
Yeah.
But I mean, I shouldn't say fairly prevalent, but
very serious topical topic, handled well. I don't know that we're going to have 3 episodes in a row that are as good as these 3. To me, these 3 episodes are peak White Shadow. But that doesn't mean we don't have some fun stuff coming up, including, spoiler alert, our gal Sybil is going to be with child.
Really? I'm going to have to, I don't remember that.
Yeah, but see that happening very quickly in the next few episodes.
Okay. I watched this one a couple days ago. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the next one, but it's been a real pleasure to see these.
It has.
And
I'm having so much fun revisiting these shows and then just talking them through with you. It's a blast. It really is. And I don't know what to call it, a labor. If it's labor of love.
There we go. Perfect. I'm looking forward to next week. I'll get 10, 11, 12 under my belt, and we will do some more. And then a shout out to all of our listeners. We talked about the Harlem Globetrotters. I'm going to put on our Facebook page, I'll do a little giveaway, and I have a little Harlem Globetrotters trading card.
Nice.
You can I'll do as a little giveaway.
Nice. Coach Joe, I appreciate it. And we love our Facebook community. We've been doing more and more with it. It's really growing. Please leave comments. Let us know what you want to see.
Exactly. And
let us know what you think our next show should be. We're about, not quite. I think after next week's show, we'll be halfway done with White Shadow.
Yeah. So, you know what? It's been coming back to me, Carlos, just to kind of go that way for a second, is when you said Kolchak the Night Stalker. I don't know. It just has intrigued me because I remember always it seemed to be the endings were, the topic was great. The endings were mysterious.
Yeah.
I
cannot remember the name of the actor, but I remember him because every year I hear him say, Fragile, must be Italian.
From the Christmas Story?
The Christmas Story, that guy, that's the name of that guy, that actor is the star. Of,
Denny Gavin something, I forget his name.
Hold on, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm confusing him.
No, it is. It's...
Yeah, Darren McGavin?
Darren McGavin, yeah.
Yeah, he is so good. It's basically if you take a 40s style, I'm reporter, begging out, all of that stuff, getting the story out. But then you make him be the main guy in the X-Files. That's Kolchak Night Stalker.
There we go.
It's awesome.
Thanks,
Joe,
Carlos.
This
Good
is a
fun.
supersized episode here, but I've enjoyed it, and I look forward to talking next week.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.